Entertainment media is there to provide an experience for the open-minded. For those, put it this way, the creator has certain, let's say, settings to their requirements, to the requirements of their project and of themselves. Okay, if they're excited about something, they want to share it, right? Now, we as consumers, if you don't create art, there's less of a chance that you'll be open minded about things like retconning. Okay? That stuff doesn't bother me because I love the impossible, right? The time travel movies tear me up because it takes eternity, it takes the impossible, and it takes energy and it creates it out of nowhere, right? And so just because it doesn't tick your mental box, okay, I think what we want is simplicity, purity, certainty. I remember when I would watch films that are based on cartoons or books, and if it would happen exactly the same as I remember it, I felt vindicated. If it was different, it bothered me. I got over that though. Okay? I want to say sometime in the 90s, certain things bothered me. When I watched Ninja Turtles when I was 10 years old alone in the theater. And I loved it. It was raw. It was to this, and it stands the test of time. I watched it a couple years ago. It was excellent. Oh, it was raw. It was realistic. It was it was basic. It wasn't complicated. It wasn't diluted. And I think that is what purity is. It's certainty of purpose. It's the aim is clear. The nature is identical to what we expect based on our if it's a if it's a version of something that we've experienced. So like book, comic book, show or whatever, and there's an adaptation, I guess is the word I was looking for, right? Anytime a new director gets their hands on something, it can change. Okay, Picard, the show Picard. I didn't really like it. Um, there are several reasons why. I liked season 3, especially the ending. I didn't hate season 1, but it missed so much of what made the Next Generation and Jean-Luc Picard's character good. I don't remember season 2. I think I flew through it. I don't remember hating it. I remember sort of liking it, but it's irrelevant. I think we're either too picky or oversaturated, right? It's almost like we need a problem to solve. Okay, the world is so full of richness and also but also need. It's almost like the best and worst is existing in parallel today. And we want to it's like we need a challenge, but we don't want a real challenge. We want we want a puzzle, right? We want a puzzle. We want something to do. We want to be able to use our minds on something to do with our minds. But the stress of the problem demands our attention, and it's threatening. It threatens to take our sanity. And so what do? Well, we go back to what we like. But if we don't create, then we'll never really get that in the other person's shoes perspective. Now, there are people out there that are just making videos for views. I get it. But do they even believe what they're really saying? Because I see a lot of people sort of pandering to bad attitudes, and that's very unhealthy to pander. Even if you think you're going to get views, it's better to be disciplined when you're sharing. If you're disciplined when you're sharing, you're thinking about the experience of the other person. I just made a video of this for my other channel. If you're not thinking about, okay, let me take a step back. Final Fantasy IV. Oh my gosh, it will forever be the deepest place in my heart that a Final Fantasy game has reached. The deepest place. Overall experience, 7. Okay. And 6 has probably the most amount of nostalgia, and I really wish they would have made more games with that tile set, because of all the tile sets of any game, FF6, Final Fantasy VI, is in my mind, it's the top of this. It's the top. That game used every single color that the Super Nintendo had, every single one. And you might say to yourself, well, it only uses that's only true because you could completely customize, the window color. Okay, well, that's fair. But look, it's so colorful. And it's colorful in a realistic way, not a cartoony way. I didn't like how the pixel remasters looked. I don't own them, but I've watched videos. Temporary segue. I remember I watched a video. Oh gosh, when was it? It was last year. The guy was in South Figaro, and he went out. It was after the whole. Spoiler alert! It was during the World of Ruin. He went out and it was green. The grass was green, not brown. And he saved the game over his other saved. And then before he realized, wait a minute, there was a glitch, and it took me back. He got stuck. He got almost all the way to the end of the game. He was essentially at the end of the game, or close. Okay, enough of that. Okay, how about this? Let's combine what I said just there, this little segue, with my whole point, the thing I was saying before. Distractions are inevitable when you need to explore. I feel like businesses are in a place where, for the sake of the employees or owners' sanity, new things have to be tried. I feel like there's a desperate need for that. Just because someone expects something doesn't mean you're wrong in not delivering it. Okay, so I feel like people need to give the creators a bit of a break. You might be afraid of creating because you've set that up for yourself. You've set up the criticism you now expect, or you've listened to other people and you've gained their attitude and you've taken their side and pointed a finger, and now you're like, well, I can't do that now. I have to wait for them to fix it. Then I can follow them. Well, how about you take the lead? Make something. It doesn't have to be good. In fact, if it is, you probably, and your first time, you may have understood what you're doing, but it doesn't mean you have experience. Okay? You need to be able to triangulate. You need to look up things as you can, one bit at a time. Excuse me. All you need is a word, or a phrase, or a term, and search. Once you have identified what it is that you're, whatever you're doing, get an idea, but you need to triangulate. You can't just accept somebody's opinion. Even if I'll put it this way, even if there's 1,000 opinions, they all could be the same. You need different opinions. It's like the politics that are going on. It's like, man, there's when the act of balancing something out looks extreme, your perspective is what is extreme. Okay? people will always fight to balance things out, but if it's not actually centered, then there's no hope. There's no hope for those who have needs on one side and for those who have goals on the other. And the reason why is because there's too much of a gap. People need to be able to believe that there's peace, that you can have peace no matter what. If people aren't careful with their words, if they're not, how would I say this? When you pave a road, there are several things at any project, but let's just take the road for example. There are several requirements to making a road. Number one, you can't build it on swampland, right? Two, you have to, there's the land itself. Who owns the land? Do you own the land? Three, is it just going to be, what type of road is it? Is it going to be 2-lane? Are there any bridges through the land? You need to know these things. Then there's the what is it? I don't even know the process. There are the obstacles. Are there obstacles, Everett? On account of our obstacles, are there trees? Are there boulders? What's the direct route? Okay. Now, what do? Do they just take I think they just make it so that it's just dirt, right? They get the equipment, right? They bulldoze it. They do whatever. Make sure it's level. Okay, that's another step. That's like step 6 or 7. I haven't really been taking count. Then they put gravel down, and I think they roll a steamroller over it. It might not be. I don't know. They need to pack it down. They need to make sure it's not that's stable. Then they put then they pour the asphalt. Then they steamroll it. Right, and they do that until they're happy with the road itself. Right. Then I think painting is the last thing, and you put those little markers on it. There's a lot of steps to making roads. They're working on any project, right? Have you been through the process? Think of things from the creator's perspective. This is not to help you calm down. This is to help you to enjoy something. Like, if you're, I'm not after the people who. I am after the people who are in torment because of criticism. Now, the criticism, it owns you. If you use it, you're a slave to it. You are a slave to your choices. In other words, the result that you get, you can't avoid the result that you get. It's impossible. You can't do it. You're involved. Even an attitude towards something is being involved. Right? So how do you get back there? Well, how about you discipline yourself? You skip a meal. You embrace comfort, and look into your spiritual life. Because I look at all these games, and I remembered of Final Fantasy VIII. Gosh, what is that video? It's like 15 years old. It's an old video. What is it? Maybe I'll find it and post it. But this is meant to just be an entertainment channel. But how about this? Why don't we increase our abilities to appreciate things? Okay, you need space in order to. It's like the stomach. If your stomach's full, you can't eat anymore, right? That's why it's called full. If you can keep eating, it's not full, right? You need to listen to the voice of your body. Well, if you listen to the voice of your body, you will hear the voice of your soul. If you hear the voice of your soul, if you understand what these, I wouldn't say voices, but they sort of have voices. Like fruit has a smell to it, or garbage has a smell, right? That smell is that noun's voice. A feeling is the condition of whatever it is that you're drawing from. Okay? So if you're honest with yourself, you'll be able to appreciate listen, even if it's not good, this is good, and it's hard. It's not. It's possible, but it's a trying process. You are able to appreciate anything that is not ugly in nature. Let's put it that way. Okay? I feel like we've lost sight of who we are. I believe that there have been so many stance-based promises that our ability to make our own decisions I feel like there's a fear there. Like we don't want to explore anymore. We don't want to step out. Okay, let's talk about how fear works. And I wasn't planning on going into this. You know the bat signal, Batman's bat signal. It shines up, right? Well, fear is like something like that, but it's shining down. It's shining down on your place. Okay, fear is there to let you know that you've stayed somewhere for too long. You're just supposed to go somewhere, and you leave that behind. You leave that effect behind. Okay, and if you can just be honest with yourself and test things, you'll go so far in life. You'll be able to conquer things, man. I've conquered things. I don't even want to think about things I conquered because the process was so grueling. Although I'll say this, there's just some decisions I will never make again. There's no way. I don't care about the promise of convenience or feeling. Feeling is not worth it, man. It is not worth it. I was watching a video. I have a health issue right now, and I was looking into fasting for it. And I was watching a video. I don't remember how long it was. I didn't finish it. But there's these two brothers, and maybe I'll link that one too. That have talked to people, and I've actually on a Facebook group that talks about natural remedies, and they talk about how fasting heals cancer. Just letting your body feed off of what's its condition. Like you've built up things, you've put things in it. It's meant to be drawn, but if your body's too busy processing all the time, it doesn't have a chance. Think about multitasking. Your body's not meant to multitask in terms of, like, the stomach does one thing, right? And I'm sure that if I did a little bit of research, I'd be able to prove what I'm thinking, but I'm not going to say it because of my terminology, and I'm going to force everybody to listen to me if you are still listening. Because this isn't exactly a presentation. But there are things you can do for your health that helps you to not demand the health of others. If you take care of yourself, other people won't need to as much. You won't be triggered so much. And that's basically it. How to get off on all this? Final Fantasy. Yeah. 4 reaches a very deep place. Because it's simplistic. And that might be why people are getting triggered, because of all the like FF Remake. It got pretty complicated. They added a layer, the whole whisper thing, and then you thought about Aerith, and then you see Zack, and it's like, wait a second, and then Rebirth, it's potentially branched into, I don't remember how many did I count, 6 or something like that. But I made a video about this before. It was very short. Talked about a 4th game, but it's not part of the trilogy. Obviously, it's like that, sort of like an MMO that you could explore the past, present, future in each one of the timelines that are from the branch, right? Anyway, I could talk all day. That's enough for now.